May toy. I wish I would have started recording a second earlier. Fred was flying around. This is a May garden tour. Well, not really, guys, just yard tour. It's not really a garden. There's some plants. I want to show them now in May. It does not feel like May today. It feels like December or January. We have not been getting great weather. We've actually got some serious freezes. Like 21 degrees this morning. I don't know what's going on, but it is May. Cool. Nothing will change that fact. So here's the plants. They don't seem to be affected by the extreme freezes we've been getting. I think it's only tender plants. Everything seems to be fine. Maybe some grass is yellowing. But yeah, it is maybe. That's what's happening maybe. But nothing else is getting damaged. Everything with buds. So you can see here, our potentilla plants, let me stand in the right area, have got some buds. It's hard to see them all, but you can see the buds ellipting off this plant. That is pretty cool. I always like to see these come because look at how much buds develop on all them stems. If I zoom in, you can see just on one cut piece is 400 buds. Something you don't want on a tree, but in a bush is nice because it grows in full. But look, right here, just on this cane, there is so much green coming out of that cane. You can see it better in real life. If we come up and look at this plant, you can see the same here. This one cane releases like 30 pieces from the cut ripped point right here too. So right there too. So these are gonna be some nice plants. You can see the green coming off of them, but here's a look at them. From a distance, you can't really tell yet. It'll be halfway through May before you'll be able to tell. And this one here is the slowest. I thought this was dead last year. I thought it died, but it's not. It's just late coming back. There is not one sign of life on this plant. I don't know if that's a sign it's dying or what, but it grows well when it starts, but it takes a while to break dormancy. Could be the conditions it's receiving. If we look down here, yeah, there's not one sign this plant has left dormancy yet, but it is alive. Because it just grows a little slower. I think it's because of the conditions it's in. It's always done that. And this, for the tour here, this blew off. This is our dog sign. It got windy. We gotta hang it up. That's our crazy dog sign. But these wind chimes are so nice on these windy days. We just set these up a few days ago. They are broken, but they do work. It's an amazing sound, especially just in the Dole wind. Our planter area is removed. Now you can see the protrusions of the planter area. The dirt, the straight dirt, was up to the top of that Y stick there that I put there. That's off the tree across the street there. But that we did a hard prune on, kind of a top actually, like a complete cut down almost, but it'll still grow back. This is that planter. And it protruded out to here. That was all soil covered. Up to this level where the dirt was, so that stick is fully underneath the dirt if that planter was there. Underneath these rocks is still dirt, but we just covered them with rocks to make it look real nice. And the planter itself was up to the height of the top there. So that's how the planter looks gone. It is a treat. It's really nice. You can see how high that dirt was. We're gonna add some brown railing up there just for safety reasons. And the trees are transplanted over there. I don't know if they'll survive, I hope. But let's get to the plants now. We kind of talked about all that stuff. Let's get to all the plants, starting in the corner over here. So we've already talked about the potentillas, so let's skip those. So we've already talked about them. This plant here is one of our conifers. These are the conifers in the yard that are surviving. Even the two conifers in the front, which I'll get to in a minute, are not seeming to survive. The conifers have been horrible here. They've all been torn out over around this area too. Go! So here's the first one. It's growing nice. It's gonna be ready to grow. Potentilla. And here, right here, I gotta make sure Coop. Go! He always gets out of situations there. But these are the dogwoods, and these are also late dormancy breakers, but they produce some growth. So if we take a look at this plant, there's not many buds yet. Ooh, those wind chimes are amazing. Love that sound. You can see there's a bud on the stick there. And that one bud will come up and create a whole new stick. This was its own thing. And all them buds, all them sticks grew off of it, and I cut it far back again. But looks like some of these are getting black and dark, but they do really come. They look dead. I thought they were dead too last year because there were a bunch of ants on them. God, no. These things shot up again, higher than the fountain where it was. And this one here is actually the faster grower of the two. And it obviously can be seen with all the ground roots there. I cut this back to the ground, so it looks like this is how it's gonna come back. But in reality, it isn't. There's actually a lot there that is going to come back. This whole thing here is going to grow right back up. So it's going to be a huge plant. Whoa! Get over here! Right now! This is another one of them Mugo pines, the dwarf Mugo pines. This is going to be a really nice area come spring. This potentilla, these don't grow much. We've actually damaged the candles off most of them, so a lot of it doesn't grow. But it still survives. But just don't damage your pine's candles. We don't want it to grow anyway. But they still grow. They do grow, but just slow. So this one in the middle here grows so much in a year that it can protrude out in all those, so it's a full space coverage. So in the summer, it's gonna look like that bush just, and the other one's grown, kind of just shrouding that fountain that we'll have running. It's gonna be a really nice area. I'm really excited to see that area established. We won't see it that much until about end of July or August. But now let's take a look at the daylilies. They might be liking the music playing for them. Kind of just watching these guys too, make sure they're not getting out of the area. These plants have received, I think in the March tour they might have been done too. I don't think they were though. I think I did this on one of the warmer days in March. But they have received an under prune of all the dead. Except that one, because it's got mostly dead on the side. We kind of pruned it too much. But this one here, you can see now it's not protruding the rocks. It's not poking. It's just a plant that is nicely lopped up. I'm debating whether I want to do it with this one or not. I'm still debating on it. As you can see, most of the side there is dead. So I don't know if I want to remove it because there is growth coming from the area. But we have not got to the pruning of this plant. So we're going to see if that new growth can squeak in there enough to where we can cut it when it fills in before I do anything major with that plant. This one here has a dead spot on the top. Who knows, the dogs could have jumped over it and cut the cane there, cut the trunk, and that's what killed that little bit. But the rest of the plant is nice. We did do the same procedure on this. You can see here how wide the branches were cut from this area. This one specifically is a huge branch cut from the area. And this bush, back in 2022, before I did any work in this place, and no one else did, this plant was protruding from the main plant area, which is there, all the way out to about here and around the sidewalk. So these things can really grow out of hand, and that's why there's so much dead spots on them, because they need a serious prune. But that one got that job, and they all look so nice. They took it well, and they actually grew. They actually did get stressed afterward, and turned yellowish like that one did. But they bounced right back. This one looks like it's got some stress going on there too. But it's been crazy. We've been getting a lot of dry wind too. They're all kind of doing their own thing. Some of them are not looking as great as others. That one's one of them. You can see almost looks like this is ready to die right there. If that's the case, we're just gonna have a green top and a topiary-like plant. This one here is doing all right. It's got a hole, but I love these plants. Hopefully they all survive. This one here looks the best. You can see they're fully green. So that one looks really nice. Hopefully, I've been gentle with it. It did develop a little dash there, but it still looks really great. That's the neutrality, if that's how you say it, of these plants. The little holes you'll develop in them. But the daylilies now, they are really coming in. So here's daylily 1. This was last year. Guys, come here. No behind there area. If this was last year, these guys ran through the planter a lot more than they do this year. So these plants would already be cut down to the ground by their feet. It was hard to get them to grow up last year, but this year they seem fine. The dogs don't seem to be running over them as much as they were. This one's going great. If we step back here, we got a couple more, which this one's doing great. It's got a lot of growth on the top area there after I did that severe kind of tear out on them. This one's got a little less growth. I think it's a little less sun. This one over here has just broken the surface last week. I thought it was dead, but it is coming up. It's usually last, but it does put on it actually blooms the most, so plants are really unpredictable. And here, right here, was where, you guys in that area? Coop, sit. These are blooming too, and they are nor affected by the frost. So it seems like all these plants are doing fine. And we got a severe freeze. Very cold, severe freeze. But here, where these windmills are, where this one exactly is, was one of them ones right there, bush, but smaller. One of them right there, and one of them right there. And they were all dead. There's also one where that concrete slab is now. And there was a few more over there. But these plants are all going to grow nicely. I did have to prune them back. And here is our spirea plants. So they are coming up quite nicely. As you can see there, we have a lot of blooms on these plants. Very soft, lush, and they are almost, they're almost as much grown as they get. And this one here too, we're going to try and not harm it as much by the hose, but with our vents and stuff, we don't know if it'll get harmed, but it is growing, ready for us. This bush here, we don't know if it's going to be taken out soon. It is pretty much dead. Brad! These guys are kind of screwing around up here doing their thing. These fountains would have been on a couple days ago by last year, but I don't think they'll be on for another 10 to 15 days. Well, probably not 15, another 10 days for sure this year. I don't want them to break, and this weather is horrible this year. Right now, you guys, it is like a winter day out here. But I'm still getting out and making a video because it's technically May. It's May. Let's go over here and look at the front shrubs. These ones, I thought all these died because I pruned them too hard or something after that 1 year there. But it didn't die. These are really late as well. These look horrible for almost the month of June. Until the very end of June, these look pretty bad. They grow from the base and then finally start getting some growth in the middle. But by the whole month of July, whole month of August, they're the best plants in the yard. So it's very crazy. They are one of my favorite plants, but they do have a weird growth. Oh my God, there's some growth out of this plant right here. All right, so there's the exact same place some growth appeared last year. That's kind of crazy. You can see some of the spirea growth right there. The leaves protruding out of the base of the plant. So that occurs right in this corner first every year. I'm always looking there. And I look there to make sure before I look anywhere else on the plant. I almost said device. But then come this whole plant's surrounded in blooms, then the middle section and their surrounding sections will bud out and bloom within a day. So usually around June 15th through 20th is when they really start showing. This one's stressed, so we'll have to watch it. And over here, this one does the best. I don't know if that one's stressed. I think it's something to do with conditions or wind or something it doesn't like in that area, but it does grow every year, and it's kind of been like that since it's been planted. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. This plant here is the same, or is not the same. It's actually the biggest, thickest one. You'll see all these 4 plants on that video I made when I pruned them all. That one's the thickest in October. These now are doing something weird. They are dying, and that's simple and straightforward. All the needles are falling off these bushes. That one's had that in it since like 2018, but then it kept going. And this one here has been great, but it seems like it's not doing well now. You can see all the bare sticks at the top, and conifers, you guys, are like in this area. I don't know, I'm doing that because it's dead. But in this area, I think it's with our cold winters. We got negative 55 degrees this winter with a feels like, and a breeze that day of negative 60. So that's hard on these plants, and I think that's what damaged most of the conifers. These 2 Arctic blasts we've had over the last couple of years, it's been hard on plants. These temperatures, we've been getting Antarctica type temperatures our winters recently, so it's kind of crazy. Over here, and it was seriously horrible. You'd step outside and your nose would just freeze off. You couldn't breathe because your nose hairs would physically stick together within the first breath. And it's dangerous, guys. I really hope you guys aren't caught in a situation like that like we were. It's really bad. The houses will crack. I mean, it's hard on structures. Machines, some of our machines wouldn't even start for a week. I mean, it's bad. So it's hard on these plants that are living things and stuck outside like they are. It's really hard on them. Especially conifers that do have a little life left in them over the winter and need to focus on. Even that tree browned a little bit. They even grayed out a little bit. They did get their color back now, but I mean, it's hard on even established trees to go through that type of thing. But trees are very strong, but when you hit temperatures negative 50 degrees, what it feels like in a little dry breeze of negative 60 on a cold day like that, a tree ain't gonna like that. And it will seriously kill a tree. unless it's a dormant tree like those. That's why they survive more, because they're dormant. They don't have any problem. They don't have to deal with winter burn. But anyway, here's the 2 junipers, or I'm sorry, cedars that we got in the yard. They handled the freeze perfectly. Not a problem with them. So with the warming of temperatures after the prune of these we did, and I have a video on that back in November or December 2nd, I think, or I posted it like December 5th or something around their time. We did I started in November project. It was pretty huge, but they did, after the temperature did warm for that week, they're almost a 70. Some of the sticks finally had that last life in them, because when it gets hot, you'll notice if you did a prune tree in winter, you're gonna have dead things in the summer, because those sticks lose their water faster in the heat. So I did give those trees a blow and brush off, and they look great now. So everything green on those is still connected to the tree, and they are ready to grow. So I think that's about it. We don't have anything coming up yet, but it's interesting to watch all these plants, because I did a lot of pruning on them. Last year it was really interesting and actually a little scary because of how much they were pruned. Some we just haven't kept up. We didn't ever keep up on the yard until I really got into it and started doing it. These plants, these dogwoods in the middle, completely covered the fountain. They were up to that line you see. That's a measurement. I don't even know how it got there, but I think it might be from the plants. That line you see there on the window, if I back up, that's where them dogwoods were in height. They're both the same height, completely covered the fountain. There's a bunch of black widows in there when we kind of wanted to get the fountain running. So we took the saw and got these plants pruned down. Didn't prune them down as much that year because we wanted them not to be stressed. But the following year, we really took them down almost to the ground. And now we're leaving them a little higher. So they have really kind of came back. It's a lot of work to keep these things going once you let them go that far. But yeah, so that's kind of an update. Our conifers aren't looking great though, so we're just going to be looking at our deciduous plants for a while here, I think, because our conifers, other than these by the fountain area here, are not going well. And a fountain update while we're here. This fountain over here is going to be turned on with everything else. This one here has been on a few times already on the warmer days, since it's really easy to turn on and off. But the other ones I am waiting probably until May 10th this year. It sucks, but it's that freeze. We're gonna get another big freeze. It's supposed to snow on May 9th. So I just don't know what's gonna happen. But anyway, that will be it for this video. We'll see how all these things appear over the summer and how this summer is for weather. It's kind of crazy around here in Montana. So we'll see you guys in the next one.